Hey there, welcome back. Alicia here. Welcome to Module 5. So excited. Okay, if for some reason you haven't watched the first 4 videos, the core videos for each of the first 4 modules, go watch those first because this is really, in this video I'm going to refer to those things. And if you watch those out of order, that's okay, but I want you to watch those before you get to this one because we're really going to build on those concepts and you'll see how that goes in a second. Okay. So our 5th topic is message. Message is it's obviously a key for when you're thinking about marketing and how to do your marketing, how to approach your marketing, but I want to give you a fun way using those 4 modules that we just sketched out. Those concepts, we talked about your mission and your enemy and your beliefs and giving yourself permission. So I want to talk about how you can use those 4 topics to sketch out and kind of brainstorm a list of topics that are going to be, foundational to your message. And yeah, so let's just get into it. Okay, you have something that you do. You have a skill set or you have a topic. So you're a graphic designer or a photographer or you do legal or with what we're focusing on now, I just want to say a lot of people might watch these videos in these courses, and no matter what you do, I think it's amazing, and I intend for this course to be incredibly powerful and helpful to more than what has been my niche audience, and so I kind of want to speak to both. So I want to say if you're a photographer or legal consultant or just something very practical and tangible like that, I love that. That's amazing. And you can, no matter how boring or whatever you think that is, I want you to know you can create content around that. And then if you help women with mental or emotional or physical health and you feel like that's a service, but what do you say about it? You can also create content about that. So whatever you do, this is a content, I'm going to give you a content framework right now that I expect will get you through some writer's block and mental block if you don't know what to write about. Okay, so take your topic or your skill set, your livelihood, whatever it is that you do, and think about that topic, that thing. So the first module we're going to go back to, we're going to tie these ideas together, is your why, your mission. Why do you do what you do? What is your compelling reason? Why do you love that thing? How, like, with everything, whatever you do, that enables you to serve and help other people in some way. So a good way to think about it is, why do you enjoy helping people with legal stuff? Is it to keep to help them build their business and be financially stable? If you help women to organize their office space, is it because you're passionate about helping them be able to have a peaceful environment or a creative environment to build their business because you want to see their business be successful? Um, for me, I love to help people with how to think about their marketing and how to do their marketing, how to approach it, how to give themselves permission, how to grow in their own lives. And my huge why with all of that is practically it really comes down to financial freedom. I want to help families find financial freedom, right? So whatever your why is, your mission, think about how. So this first exercise to do in your notebook. Okay, so you're going to write down, think about a list of things that you could say about why you do what you do. And I just want to encourage you, I think sometimes it's really easy to talk about what you do, right? Like what you do. And then you think you can differentiate yourself by how you do it. And so what you do is obviously like, we want to get to that. You're going to talk about that in your marketing. You're going to say, I do this thing. This is what I do. And then you're going to talk about how I do it. I deliver it in this way, or I have this kind of program, or I have this kind of product, or the how is often something that we feel differentiates us. But if you remember the first module with the mission, I referred to the book Start With Why by Simon Sinek, and he does this really powerful thing where he talks about and kind of explains how if you start with why, you tap into people's emotions and then they are with you because they have the same mission, and then you don't have to turn yourself into a commodity or always focus so much on price. So why, your mission, write down a list of things that you could share with people that are interesting, that are all just why you do. And so you could say, I am X because that allows me to do such and such for people. I do this in such and such way because it helps them to this. So write down some content like that, some topics, and I will do a case study video where I walk through one and kind of give you an example of like a practical thing and how that topic teased out. But right now I want to keep it general so that you can think about whatever your situation is. Okay, so but I love doing this with specific people. And if you do a session with me, we could plan out a quarter of your content in a few hours, depending on how deep you want to go and how many places you are and how many pieces of content you're actually going to write. But yeah, I love content. Okay, let's go on to how this connects to Module 2. Okay, so in Module 2, we talked about your enemy and having something to fight against. So that's kind of your mission is what you're fighting for. It's what you want to see in the world. And then Module 2 is, your thing that you want to fight against. And so mine is like despair and inaction and stagnation. And Bo Eason, who I heard talk about, this and this idea with this wording with the enemy, he talked about how his was mediocrity. And I love that because we need people to fight mediocrity and stand up for excellence, right? And so maybe yours is marriage or family or friendship or whatever it is. I would love to hear what your enemy is because this is like a newer way to think about it, and I'm excited about applying this to our marketing strategy and helping us use this concept of enemy to help it'll help you tap into your emotions, which will help you to get excited about what you're writing about and get over that thinking about what people are going to think and focus on your mission and serving people by helping them to conquer that common enemy. Okay, so second exercise, I want you to think about your skill, your gift, what do you do, and then think about what you're fighting by doing that. What thing do you not like in the world that you want to see less of in the world that you're fighting? What is that enemy? And then write down a list of, I do such and such so that people can get their message out. I do such and such so that people can have financial freedom. I help people eat well, eat correctly so that they can have, emotional and physical freedom in their body. Whatever it is, think about the ways that you fight that enemy that, that. Think about that. Write down a list, ways that you use your gift to, so first is that you are for something, and the second is that idea of against something. Okay, so the third exercise is based on Module 3 and belief. I don't think that we do enough of speaking up for what we believe and talking about the kind of world that we want to see, and I want to encourage you to do that. And some people won't agree with you, but that's okay. They will go listen to somebody else. I believe everybody is tired of political incorrectness and hearing people who are trying to appeal to everyone. It is much more powerful and impactful for you to embrace who you are, what your mission is, talk about the world that you want to see. And I'm starting to talk, and I need to do it more. I'm starting to talk more and more about marriage and how passionate I am about marriage and about helping people stay married and guard their marriage and have a business, but still, balance that and communicate with their spouse and find a way that doing their business works with their family. And so people who are divorced might not really love listening to me, and that's okay. And I'm not judging them at all, and I wish them the best. And I know that there is somebody who understands that journey that has a mission to help them embrace a new life, right? And that's a beautiful thing, but that's not what I'm going to do. And so I want to encourage you to really free yourself to think about what you believe in vocalizing that. So I want you to make a list of ways that you can talk about, in some way related to your business, and either what you do or how you do it or why you do it. Any of those things, think about how that reflects what you believe about the world, and then think of ways to share that. So the fourth, this one's my favorite. It's my favorite. I need to write a book about permission. I need to research it more, I think. But for you, I want to challenge you. Think about your content and ask yourself, I think this because this is about growth and freedom, which is why I love it. Okay, so based on what you do, either the how or the what or the why, what you're doing with your business, what do you give permission, what do you give people permission to do or to not do? How do you help them grow? What do you set them free from? How do you help them to, well, another good way to look at that with the last thing I just said was belief. Like, what do you help them to believe? Which is kind of implied in like saying that you believe it, but that can help you too with that list of making that list is like, what are you helping them to believe? And then there's this idea of, okay, if you help them believe that, how can you, it's such a, like I said this in module 3, but I'm going to restate it. It's such a crucial thing to get to the point where we believe the things that we need to believe that are going to set us free. But then it's you want to help your audience, whatever it is that you help them do, you want them to believe that that's possible, that picture that you paint, that journey that you're going to take your client or your reader or your customer on, like that journey of where you're going to help get them, like what you do is about getting them from A to B, right? And eventually A to Z, whatever that is, what do they need to believe in order to be able to take that journey? And then how do they need to give themselves permission or free themselves up mentally, emotionally, or physically in order to do that thing? And maybe you help people run marathons, and part of that is giving them permission to love their body, right? Or you help women start a business, and part of them is that is giving them permission to do something for them, and that's not directly for their family, and to help them explore their values and tie in how it is connected and how they can find balance and how they can embrace it, right? So brainstorm some content, and as you're making this list of content, I'm trying to help you flesh out a way to almost like backdoor back into your content, because I think, like, I know, I know for myself, I know I've talked to friends, I've watched people. It's so easy to get caught up in this like SEO, search engine optimization world where you feel like you're supposed to be using the right keywords and you need to like say the right thing so it looks pretty on Pinterest. And you like sit down to like make your editorial calendar, and then you feel like you need to have like 10 reasons to whatever, and your headings need to be a certain way, and like lists are good and work well, and it's good to use those resources. But I want to encourage you to go the other way. Before you think about the keywords for SEO, or before you try to write the headings, when you're brainstorming your list of content and you're trying to plan out the next like 3 months or something, start with the end in mind and think about what does your audience need to know about your mission? What is the common enemy that you have with them, and how can you encourage them and equip them to fight that enemy? What is it that you believe about the world that you want to share, and what do you need them to believe about the world in order for them to come on this journey that you're taking them on? How can you give them permission to embrace the growth that you want to help them have, right? Think about all those things. What are you here to help them do? And then how does that tie back into your content? And make a list, and don't try to write headings or titles. Make a list of just like bullets of the kind of content that you're going to write, where like some of the things I just said, like give them permission to run a marathon, give them permission to pray with their spouse, give them help them believe that they can lose weight, help them believe that they can start a business or that they are a business owner. Or I'm trying to think about some mindset things, because if you're a mindset coach or a wellness coach or a therapist, there's so much good stuff in there with just because women, this is why I'm passionate about this, because there are just so many things. There are so many things that I'm so excited that you're helping people with. And I want to help you I want to give you freedom and permission to make your content really authentic and mission and service driven. And the key when you go on to start writing some of your content, I want to encourage you to make this mental shift from fear to love and to get out of yourself. Okay, so let me just go into the next step. Okay, so that was about kind of an idea for like brain dump and just kind of mind mapping. And you can make lists around those things if you want to mind map and kind of, why, like you could take, um, I'll create some cool worksheets and put them below because this is giving me an idea. But I haven't gotten to this yet with creating resources, but I figured I would start by telling you all about it because I know it's in my head. And I've started to walk a couple of different people through this, which has been really fun. And it's got me thinking about how there's a framework that, like, no matter who you are, if you think your topic is boring or you think it doesn't lend itself to whatever kind of content you want to create, like, no, you can, because it's all about tapping into your passion and then figuring out how to convey that to people. So do some fun, circles, lists, whatever works for you. Write down like those for, the mission, enemy, belief, permission. Write down what your topic is. Write down, what and how and why that you do it. And then just start thinking about what, just from your heart, like just what do you want to tell people? Okay. And then, don't write titles yet. Don't write headings yet. I figured out, I'm totally going to challenge lots of stuff that you've heard where it's like make your list of headings. I did that last year and I got stuck and now I understand why. So I'm here to help you to save you time on the journey that I took last year. I got so stuck with that I took a couple months off because I was just I got in this bad cycle of I switched from just writing what I was passionate about that would help people to like what's the right thing to write, and it needs to be a list, and then I've got to do the pen, and then I've got to do it on social, and I was so focused on in my head and that side of my brain that's like ticking off the check boxes and it's supposed to be whatever, that I lost my heart and my passion for it. And then I started to think about where I was heading and I just felt like I was on a treadmill, and I quit blogging for 6 months, and then I was able to, it was good because I took care of some family stuff and then started revamping and came back to rebrand and think about how to tap back into the heart of what I wanted to do and figure out what what I had lost and how to recover it and how to so my passion is to help you join those two worlds of tapping into your heart and figuring out what you want to write about, but then coming back around at the end, taking it full circle and saying, okay, how do I do some SEO and some keywords and just bring that into my content too to help to get the message out. So I want you to be unapologetic when it comes to the point of doing the smart things to help your message get in front of people. But sometimes when we start on something that way, then it's hard to switch gears and put the heart into our content that is why we do it and that what's really is really going to help people. Okay. So next step, schedule some of these out however you want, but I want to encourage you to pick a couple of them soon and go to write them, whichever ones you want to write next. And I want you to really think about what you want to say. Yeah. So, oh, that's what I was saying. I lost my thought. Okay. Don't write the heading yet. Go and just write what you want to tell them and just get it all out. Don't filter it. It's not a bad idea to listen to some like inspiring music or meditate or wait till you find quiet or whatever it is that you need to do. But make yourself sit down and get in a good mental state, good emotional state. If something's really bothering you, deal with it. Send that email. Have that conversation with that friend. Pick up the phone. Take out the trash. Whatever it is, don't go do a bunch of house chores, but kind of do a little bit of like the mental and emotional, like find your space, focus. Yeah, when you sit down to write, have when you go through the modules, like start, collecting, and you probably got a vision board, but collect some phrases that are meaningful to you, that are statements that, just things that you believe. Like I've got the one about the world needs people who have come alive, and so do something that makes you come alive. And so that, I think about that one, and I think about why I want to help you. Right? I do that mental exercise every time I'm about to get on video, and I get myself out of my own fear and what I might think you might think about the content or how people are going to react, and I shift my mindset and I focus on how I can serve, how much I love you, how much I want to help you, what I believe I've been given that I could say to help you with a specific thing, and then I do it. That's the spirit that I want you to sit down to write in and write it out, and then come back to it and think about how you can structure it and look and see if the way that you told somebody that thing and whether it's like why you do something, are there several reasons that you kind of ended up saying you do that, or if you're telling somebody how to um, give themselves permission, or how to incorporate a belief into their life, how to believe something is possible. Look and see if you naturally, come back to it and look and see if there are steps that you are there steps to do something? Is there a list of things that are important about that? Maybe there's not. Maybe there's just an introduction and a story and a conclusion, and that's okay. And to make it more scannable to, for online content, you can look and break up your paragraphs a little bit more. And if there's a sentence that you want to stand out, you can put it on its own line. Those are just basic copy editing strategies. I'm trying to give you a few now. If you go in, because if it's long, you generally want to break it up, unless you just really don't want to, and that's okay too. But you can go back in, and if you see where you talked about one thing and you talked about another, you can add a little heading and you can bold that. And then in that heading, if it fits, you can put a keyword of something that you're talking about. And then you can go write your heading and you can think about what are the things, what is it? Is there a number? Is it 3 steps to for yourself to such and such, or 10 reasons that I love being a coach, or whatever it is. Reasons that steps to how to guide comprehensive such and such, summary of the approach to something, right? So then you can do that, but I want to encourage you to always keep whatever that, like when you're in this place initially and you're thinking out of your heart and you're describing what you want to tell people, save that. And what you could potentially do is rewrite that to be a heading that you think people will click in an email, or you think people will grab people on social, or wherever you're going to put that. Or if you use one of those heading things, headline generators, which are interesting to just get you thinking. And I've heard people say, like, when you write a post, like write down 10 headings, or whatever, like brainstorm headings and pick one that you like. You can do that, but I want to encourage you to save that one that you wrote, and you could think of it as the subtitle, and you can use that when you post it, because anywhere that you post on social, you'll often have, when you share the post or the article, it'll have its heading, but then there'll usually be a line below it. You can put the description that shows up or the sentence that you say about what you wrote, and hold on to that non-SEO heartfelt description or thing that you wrote when you had your list of like things that you wanted to tell people, and keep that language in there. So that was a lot. I hope that was encouraging. I want to wrap this up by saying what I was going to say at the beginning. I kind of got into the whole content planning thing because I wanted to tie it together for you. But the fifth item that this video is about is message, and you obviously need to know what your message is, but I want to encourage you not to overthink it and to speak from your heart. But as much as you've identified who you're talking to at any given point, whoever you think you're talking to and whatever you think that you do and you have to offer, I want you to write at least weekly and share out of that place. And it is truly in the doing and the writing and the sharing that if you feel like you don't exactly know where you're going with it, it is in the sharing and the vocalizing that you will find your place. And I know a lot of people struggle to niche down, and there's a whole lot of things around that. But so everything I just shared with you was to help you kind of get past that and hopefully help you zero in on content that you can write, that no matter how you end up doing a program or how you end up doing a project, or how you structure your services, or who you really end up thinking is your main target, think about what you know, reasons that you wake up out of bed, things that you want to change about the world, things that you believe that you want to help other people believe, and then permission, like ways that you want to activate people. What do you see people not doing that you know that they could do and their life would be better, and how can you help them make that change, and visualize how exciting that would be to be making that impact in the world, and then think, what is the content that I would write that would make that possible? And then go do it before you think about it too much. Okay. I'm gonna stop there. Thank you for watching. That was the core video about message for the message module, and there will be some bonuses below to go into this more. But you got this. I want to encourage you to share your message with the world. Give yourself permission to share your message with the world, because you have a lot to offer and you've got an impact that you are meant to make. So, all right, I'll see you in the next video.